All at hippo.co.za.
Tonight on Sewende Laan.
My konsep is totaal uniek. Baanbrekerswerk wat die Moorwêreld gaan laat gons. Ons gaan 'n sensasie veroorsaak.
Sewende Laan. Tonight, 6:30. Markets and government departments are eagerly awaiting Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan's mid-term budget statement. It's going to happen this morning, and it's going to give the latest growth and fiscal projections. The minister's previous calls for government to curb its spending and narrow the country's deficit might fall on deaf ears, what with an election coming up in 2014. Well, joining us now from our Cape Town studios is Mokgatla Madisha, who is from Argon Asset Management. Welcome to Morning Live, Mokgatla.
Good morning, and thank you.
Good. All right. Let's start off with the fact that Treasury has collected less than the budgeted 1 trillion. All right. How does this augur for this morning's statement, and how far can the minister actually go about moving his various allocations?
Well, on that front, things aren't so bad. We've actually seen an improvement as the fiscal year has progressed. So budget revenues at the moment are not that far behind projections.
So they're not too bad. I mean, so he hasn't really got too much of a, he doesn't have to move too much of his allocations.
Sure. I mean, we've got a deficit of about 4.6%. That was what was tabled back in February. We think it will be slightly higher than that. But I think if it's 0.2 or so from what was initially projected, the markets are unlikely to too badly to that. However, if we see a number closer to 5, that would be a little disappointing.
Okay, let's talk about growth, because the minister had previously projected 2.7% growth in the economy. Is this still on track, or are we going to see that adjusted perhaps downwards?
Unfortunately, the minister only has 2 chances to update his figures. So what we've seen as the year has progressed is that growth will be slightly softer, actually quite a lot softer. We're looking for a number closer to 2, and that I think is sort of in line with consensus.
Yeah, I mean, having a look at the deficit, I mean that does look like a bit of a bugbear at this stage. And then, may I mention e-tolling? Is this perhaps going to assist in that situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, hot potato. I mean, Cabinet has come out in support of tolling, and I think it's important that they show that the user pay principle is still intact. I mean, it has ramifications for all manner of the infrastructure spending. So, on that front, we think that it will go ahead.
Okay, but in terms of the deficit, will it assist?
In the main, it's a really small amount. So it's not a. But I mean, it is important clearly for Sunroll to be, well, at least not to rely on the government at this stage. So the sooner Sunroll can get that revenue, the better for them as an entity. But for government spending as a whole, no, I don't think it's that important.
Okay. What budget items can we actually see creeping up on the list, and perhaps maybe seeing some items disappearing?
The minister has, said over and over that, they need to curb spending. That, just like he showed last year, that we're unlikely to see big moves on that front. Unfortunately, the economy has been weaker, and inflation has also been slightly lower than expected. So deficits will move out, not because spending is getting out of control, but rather because the economy is generally weaker than was originally projected.
Do you think that the upcoming elections will have any role to play in the allocations?
No, not really. No, I think the the government has shown, a good discipline over the last 2 years or so, and so no, I don't think it will be a big issue at all.
Okay, well there you go. That's Mokhatla Madisha from Argon Asset Management giving his views on the medium-term budget that's going to be announced here in South Africa this morning by our Minister Pravin Gordhan. So stay tuned and you'll find out what is going to be allocated and what isn't going to be allocated this morning. Let's take a look at our market indicators. Valen has our sports news.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Yeah, well, in this sports bulletin, we're going to be focusing on something that's very important to the country, and that's making South Africa an international sporting host. We've already hosted the FIFA World Cup. There's been lots of rumblings about maybe a Commonwealth Games and even an Olympic Games. Now, the Sports and Events Tourism Exchange, or CETES,